Hello, everyone. Welcome to Financeology 101. Class is now in session. The information provided during this podcast is just that information. You will need to do further research to address your specific situation. Enjoy the session. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another session of Gifted Generations Presents Financeology 101. And I'm your host, one of your hosts, Robin Seegers, and the other host is my husband, Roy.
Elroy Singers. Yeah, Elroy Singers. She calls me Roy, but you can call me Elroy.
And this session is about something real serious. So we're going to be serious for a moment. This is about the title is called The Burial Now What? What to expect after the funeral. This is something very important, something I've just recently experienced. And we welcome CJ Anthony on this session. CJ is a nationally certified funeral director and embalmer. He is a licensed life insurance agent for the state of North Carolina. He's been a life insurance agent for 14 years. He's been in the funeral industry for more than 22 years.
That's
And
right.
he has been licensed in the funeral industry for more than 13 years. So, welcome, CJ. Welcome back. And we appreciate you taking the time to do this with us.
Thank you
Yes,
very
yes.
much for
Welcome
having
back.
me.
Welcome
I'm
back.
I'm happy to be back with you all.
Yeah, there's under a sad occasion that we realized that there was a lot. We had CJ on a while back, and he told
Mhm.
us all about what to do to prepare as far as funeral expenses and what to look out for. But as the loved ones that's left behind, I'm gonna say, there's a lot of work.
Transitioning. Transitioning.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of
Oh, you're
work
right. You're
that's
right. You're right.
left. That's a
Yeah,
lot
a
of work
lot of
left for
work.
us to do. So,
Ooh.
first of all, where I want to start is what as individuals can we do to get things in order so our loved ones won't have a tough time when we're
So
gone?
so the best thing to do in that situation is to make sure that you have a will. A will details everything from your property to bank accounts to money left over on left for life insurance policies if you want to leave that. A will is the most important tool to have after death. Now, a lot of people have wills and they get it notarized. That may be okay, but you have to go that next step. You can get it notarized because all a notary does is just to verify that the person that signed that piece of paper is that person. But you need to make
Hmm.
sure you get it filed in the county that you reside in. That way, if
Mm.
you do have to go to court, or if you have a family member that wants to contest the will and say, "Oh, this will isn't real," they made this will up. Well, you can say, "Well, it's been filed with the state." So if you ever have to go to court, the judge would honor that compared to a will that is not filed with that county.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. Now, also something that we just recently experienced, would it be a good idea to have a list of like, I got these life insurance policies, I got this 401k or retirement plan, just have things listed, the car, the house, the credit card. I mean, just things that people will need to start taking care of
That
once you're gone.
right. So that's that anything to make your person who is your personal representative, or the legal term is the executor of the state. So the executor of the
Okay.
state
Hmm.
is the person who takes charge of the will. Um, it's very important to have everything listed out. Just like before, before somebody passes away and they do their own pre-arrangements, they have everything listed out to the T on exactly what they want done. it's equally important to have that tool and have that all listed out. That way, your family will know what to do at that time. They don't need to guess, um, about an insurance policy. Um, if they're trying to guess who's supposed to take over the house afterwards, you want to make sure all of that is easy for them to be able to obtain. Because there's nothing like not having a will in place. If you don't have a will in place, you have to file through the clerk of court's office in the county that you actually reside in. Um, with that process, you have to go downtown, you file an application. But if you have to file a clerk of court with the clerk of court's office, if you have multiple siblings or multiple children who may be entitled to whatever you have, the clerk of court is going to sift through to see who actually will be eligible to receive it. So,
Okay.
in order to stop a possible argument or disagreement, make sure you have that will in place. That way, you don't have to try to go through it through the clerk of court system to figure out who's going to take care of what.
So, CJ, can you tell us when a person is executor of the state, can you tell us what that person can and cannot do? Because I think there are some assumptions that the executive of state, my thought was they're going to carry out what's been assigned to them as far as documentation. They can't change anything with HR. They can't modify any kind of documents. Can you clarify what they can and cannot do legally?
So, truthfully, the executor of the state is acting as that person. So,
Okay.
legally, they can do anything under, um, they can do anything that the person that passed away um, had in place. No, they can't modify or change anything or change names, because after the person has passed away, there's nothing else to really change.
Right.
So, they really have to just, they can act, they're acting as that person. That's what I tell people all the
They,
time. You're
they
taking care of
honoring
all their
honoring it.
business.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
You take care of all their business. You're making sure bills are paid. You're making sure um, that property is switched over in the correct name. You're making sure bank accounts are closed. You're taking care of everything that that person had in place already.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All
So,
right.
so that individual, like Elroy said, there's a misconception that they can manipulate things and has all this power. And to be honest, that's a lot of weight on someone after someone dies,
Right,
because you got family members coming at you left and right, thinking you doing things that you legally can't do.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So,
So
Yeah.
like I said, the will really, it really does put you in power to take care of everything that the families think that needs to be done. But when you have the will, it saves an argument with other family members when they may come and say, "Hey, Mama did say she didn't want it. No, she listed it here. Her initials are right beside this exact item. This is what she wanted." This saves a
Right.
big. It saves confusion for families. That's
Mm-hmm.
mm,
the big piece of the will,
Mm-hmm.
that's not really talked about.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Elroy.
But well, I was gonna say, I know what we discovered recently is that even when the person who has passed away and HR is involved, they will only release information to the persons of record and not the executive of state. They
Right.
may contact the executive of state as far as asking for an address, but as far as how it's divvied up, they won't even release that to them at all. So a lot of people think the person that's executive of state, when HR is reaching out for them to make sure the payout of the either the 401k, TSP, any of those things, how they have the insurance, passed out. A lot of people think that that person can alter documents. I'm like, no, I don't think. I know they can't. So I
Mm,
know that's somewhat is confusing because they can't even HR can't even tell if I'm an executive of state. They can't tell me, hey, um, Tory, individual going to get 50%. They can say, hey, may need his address so we can contact this person, but they can't give us any information about that
no,
person. Okay.
they legally cannot give that information. If somebody's
Okay.
name is already listed in the file as the person to receive proceeds, for
Hmm.
example, um, like a life insurance policy, if
Right.
a
Right.
listed beneficiary is on there on the insurance policy, the insurance company has to deal directly with them. Now, the only
Okay.
time they will go to an executor of an estate for an insurance policy or a 401k or something like that is if a beneficiary is not listed. If a beneficiary is
Okay.
not listed, then those funds have to go to the estate of the person that passed away.
Okay.
That's when the executor will come into play to try to take care of those proceeds for everything.
Brother, man, you said a mouthful when you said that, and I hope a lot of
Right.
people get that when they hear that because that's clarity 101 right there.
Right, right. Yeah. I mean,
Clarity 101.
everyone, you know, executor has power. However, if the person has already listed in documents or with whatever company, as far as proceeds or money's coming back, it has to go to
Mm-hmm.
that person. Has to.
Right.
There, if you take out a life insurance policy, um,
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through where people are bringing me their policies. They have a policy, but they don't have a listed beneficiary on there. And they say,
Okay.
well, once you pass away, the funeral home will get it automatically. No, it won't. The funeral home will not get those proceeds. If no beneficiary is listed, it goes to the executor of the estate or to the estate.
Mm-hmm.
However, when the estate process goes, the funeral bill is the first bill that they look at. So if
Ah,
monies
okay.
Mm,
go to the court, they're going to say, okay, I need to contact the funeral home that serviced his family. And they're going to ask
Okay.
for
mm-hmm.
a paid in full bill. If they cannot
Okay.
provide a paid in full bill, nothing else will be paid until that funeral bill is taken care of.
Shut your mouth.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Okay.
Mm. Man, you said another mouthful.
And something you said to me earlier a couple weeks ago about the hospital bill, which I did not realize, is that the surviving family members, a son, daughter, wife, is responsible, can be responsible for that hospital bill. Is that correct?
Unfortunately, the hospital bill is one of those bills that is hard to kind of steer around. So,
Mm.
if the loved one passes away and they have a whole lot of hospital bills, that is something that can trickle down to the family.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Hmm.
That can leave family in debt overnight, just in
It
one fell swoop.
it can, but even in that situation, um, I would make sure whoever is the executor of the estate, and if they know monies are coming in and can go towards the estate, I would make sure that I would file that hospital bill with the estate. That
Mm.
way, the
Hmm.
estate can divvy the funds that are there to try to take care of whatever expenses are there. Now, once the money is out and there's no more money being collected, you know, the family unfortunately be responsible for whatever is left. However, there are ways to try to get around it, but it's not always 100% proof that it will happen.
Wow.
Oh, have
Wow,
mercy.
wow, wow.
You know what,
So,
CJ? And I learned today. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, CJ.
no,
Oh no, no,
I
go
was
Go
ahead.
ahead.
going to I was going to ask, so does the life insurance, is that where the life insurance, um, say I'm the beneficiary, does the life insurance, once it comes to me, the proceeds, I can use that to pay the hospital
Right.
bill?
So
Okay,
legally,
okay,
legally, you can use your life if you're the beneficiary. You can use the life insurance for whatever you want to pay for.
So
okay.
Just
that comes
because
to
you
me
have
to
a
the
life
person.
insurance policy does not mean you have to use it toward somebody's funeral. I've had
Right.
situations where families have been in the conference room and they'll go back and forth. Well, daddy left this insurance policy just for me, so I'm not going to use it for the funeral. Now, ethically, that's messed up, but legally, they have that right.
Right.
Wow,
Wow. Yeah. Can somebody
wow.
put this insurance policy in uh, person A, but the will says, as the policy is given to person A, I want to take that policy and divide it up. Can they do that? Can the will override the will of the insurance? Like you're gonna get the money, but this is what you need to do with the money once it is divvied out.
No, no. Once that
Wow.
person is listed as the beneficiary, They can do whatever they
Wow.
want to do with that money.
Wow. Okay. So you can't even put in the will to say do X, Y, and Z. It's like that's just a
No,
wish because
yeah,
the money goes to me. I can do what I want to with it then.
that's right. That's
Wow.
right.
Okay.
That's
Oh
right.
wow.
And
Wow.
another thing people need to kind of look at, is when doing life insurance policies as well. If the person, for example, Errol, if you had an insurance policy on your wife, okay,
Mhm.
you're the
I do. I do. I
beneficiary.
do.
I,
I do.
I would hope so. Um, but if you were to pass away and you're listed as the beneficiary on the insurance policy, then it automatically goes to the estate. One thing that I find is once somebody passes away, they don't go ahead and put another beneficiary on there. They
Mhm.
and it's normally too late when they get to the funeral home. They'll give the funeral director the insurance policy. They'll call it in, verified, and then the insurance company will say, "Is so and so still alive?" or "Is so and so
Mhm.
the one who you're dealing with?" Well, no, so and so
Mhm.
passed away. Oh, well, we're gonna have
Mhm.
to send these funds directly to the estate.
CJ,
Mhm.
that's an important, not a mouthful. I mean, I learned today. With everything that's going on. I had to my wife. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna go to work. Get all my files and print them out and bring them to you because I want you to have your own proof of far as my all my 401k, my
Right.
health benefit payout, and everything." And I had the forms in front of me, and I said, "Hey, let me make sure I contact HR. Can you send me the files because they got to sign off some things, right?"
Right.
Man, what they said? Now I got the file that says I filed it back in 2015. They said, we don't have on file, Mr. Hicks. I said,
Mm-hmm.
say what? I said, say what? Now I got the file in front of me that I sent to them. They didn't have it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I told her, I said, girl, do you believe they don't have anything on file for you? So I said,
Right.
there's one of the forms you got to go online. So I go online, sure enough, no beneficiaries. I went there and
Wow.
put Robin's name in. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This I had
But
to go in and put Robert's name in there. Had somebody send a docu sign the witness. They signed it, came back, got that done. Fill out the form,
even,
got to get two witnesses. I'm like, so even
even
if you think you got things in place, you need to check
yeah.
it. Robert, like, I'm
Yeah.
checking this stuff every month. I'm like, that's a
That's
bit
right.
much, baby. But
That's right. Well, no, well, you got to be on top of it. I mean, even as you
Yeah.
yeah.
put a beneficiary on your insurance
Mm-hmm.
policy, there you can
Mm-hmm.
have a primary beneficiary and a contingent beneficiary.
Contingency. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
always
Mm-hmm.
recommend that you have a contingent beneficiary
Yep.
listed just in case
Yep.
that person passes away and you don't have
Yep.
to
Mhm.
fall into that situation where you don't
Man.
have anybody to receive those proceeds.
Yeah, I took
Right.
care of all that.
Right.
I took care of all that. I'm like, nope, I ain't messing that up.
That's right.
I thought I did everything right. So I've been sitting there for 7 years. Thank God nothing happened in those 7 years.
Yeah.
She'd have got it eventually, but it took longer to get to it.
Yeah.
It would go to this state, but now it's like, here's your form. Make it check out to you, Robin, or to you, boys. Y'all good to go. It alleviates that time period of headaches about what's supposed to happen in the interim. So I
Right.
mean, it's sad these things had to happen, but I told Robin things happen for a reason, and this is it's making me pay more attention, just checking things. And I'm glad I
Right.
did because I did my part, but somehow something fell between the crack at work, and I realized I can't let this happen. So I initiated everything and said, "Hey, baby, it'll all be straightened out." So I make sure you had the paperwork, so you're
Right.
good to go. Because I want to at least have what I filed, so she can say,
Right.
"Nope, here's what I got. This is filed. I know you got it on file." So I told her, I said, once they get it, I send it off. I'm gonna verify with them that it's on
That's right.
file. Send me emails on file and the information is accurate, and then we're good to go. I'm like, Jesus, man, I can't believe
Yeah.
this.
When you send paperwork into companies like that, and you
Yeah,
make sure you always get them to send you something showing that it has been
something
done.
back. Yeah, something
Yep.
back. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Lesson learned for me, just like I'm good. I did everything. I submitted everything,
Right.
but mm-mm,
So
didn't happen.
that's just a clear sign. So people that's listening to this podcast, if you think you are good, you better double check and triple
That's
check
right.
Mm-hmm,
That's
because
right.
Make
it
a phone
does
call.
happen. Yes, it
Mm-hmm,
does
mm-hmm,
happen.
mm-hmm.
And you thinking you all good and your paperwork hasn't even been processed or was lost
Hmm.
or what have you. So yeah. And I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that some people thought they had life insurance and didn't even have it. And it's like,
yeah,
Right.
okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even when you were talking about, they HR was telling us some stories when you go to these classes about, insurance, and they said, some people get remarried Like you said, they forget to change the name. And this is a
Right,
case that actually happened. The current wife is supposed to be the beneficiary, but the husband didn't change it. He passes away. And on the HR paper, it's the ex-wife.
right,
And the ex-wife gets every single thing because the current husband didn't change it to update with the new wife. And the
right,
ex-wife like saying, "I'm good, thank you, I'm out," and then I give
right.
the current family not one red cent.
That's
And
right.
legally,
That's
she's
right.
right, but it's like, wow, just walked away from me. You walked away
Right,
from me in marriage, I'm going to take mine in death. You know, so
right. That's right.
so
They're gonna
I- I'm
file
I'm
over it again.
encouraging. Yes, I encourage all parties to check your current documentation to make sure it's accurate. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And definitely,
yes, ma'am.
definitely. Now, now I had a question. Now, say there's a real property like a mortgage and a car that's still you're still making payments on. Do you just and that person was the only person's name on those accounts? Do they just let those go, or what they do with the house? What they do with the cars? Turn them in? What happens?
Legally, I'm gonna tell you the legal, and then I'm gonna tell you. Okay.
I'm gonna give you
Okay,
I'm gonna
all
give you
right.
legal. Then I'm gonna give you hood.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. So legally, you would need to contact that company and let them know, hey, so and so has passed away. I do plan on keeping. I do want to keep the car, or I do want to keep the house. What is the process that we need to follow in order to do that? Now, normally they'll send you some documents.
Hmm.
They may have you fill out for another loan to go to try to get that property. Now, the other way is you can just still make payments on it and not tell them. I mean, like truthfully,
Mm,
how are they really going to know that the person has passed away unless somebody's informed them?
right, right. Right. So the estate, when they start looking out to see who the person that passed away owes, that's not one of the things they come across. Don't the estate does do that?
If you put it on the estate paperwork.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
So if you don't
I've
list it, then
seen,
they ain't
yeah, they're not gonna really look at it. Now I've seen it where in that
okay.
situation they have for a house, for example, the house was just about paid for. I think it was like $10,000 left on the house. They didn't let them know that the person that passed away, they just went and paid it off. But once they paid it off, then they let them know the person has passed away. So it's easier to transfer property if it's not a loan against it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm.
So it just depends
Okay.
on how you want to handle that situation.
Okay.
Mm.
Wow, it's a lot to think about. A lot to think
It
about.
it, it is.
And I know that there's such thing as mortgage insurance, am I saying it right?
Yes,
That would help
that's
pay
right.
off the house if you pass away. But if you don't have that, those are the options. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of people they don't understand the whole process of, as far as for the mortgage insurance. Now, the mortgage insurance, I would recommend anybody to get it. If you have a home, if you don't want to leave any extra debt towards your family, get the mortgage insurance. It's not going to cost you that much more added to your loan for the insurance. Just for situations like this, you don't want to be put in a situation and your family has to continue to pay that loan amount because they're losing an income coming in. So it's going to be even
Right.
more of a
Right.
struggle towards them. So mortgage insurance, I
Yeah.
definitely recommend it.
Wow. That's
Okay.
awesome.
So people, you hear
Whew.
that? Life insurance. There's such thing as funeral insurance, mortgage
That's right.
insurance. Get
All types of
all the
insurance.
insurance. Yeah,
That's
get it all
Mm.
because
Mm.
especially if you're the breadwinner and you leave in your family, it, you need to make sure they're gonna be good. You don't want your family struggling once you're gone.
right.
Mm. Got me over
Yeah.
sweating.
They don't need to sweat. It's just a little work you got to do to
Whew.
make sure everything is in order.
One thing, that's one
Yeah.
thing I always try to make sure. We've always put things in place for my wife and the boys, so they know where everything is located. They know what is what, who to contact, names, everything. We get everything situated for, it'll trigger life events. It's going to trigger certain things, and we kind of got it mapped out for them. And the only
Right.
thing that wasn't up to date was the work stuff. I'm like, that caught me off guard. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, eventually
Yeah.
they would have gotten it, no problem. But I like for it to go directly to somebody, not to go to the state and then they got to figure things out. I'm like, nah, we're gonna
That's
avoid
right.
all that stuff. Let's get this stuff fixed now. So
That's right.
yeah,
And
that's where I'm happy to.
someone told us the other day that they invite their teenage son to be a part of
Hmm.
the
Yep,
process
discussion.
of
Hmm.
making making sure everything is in order so they would know.
Yep,
So if you have
yep,
teenage kids, don't
yep.
don't be afraid to share that information so they will know what to
Hmm.
do or
Hmm.
what to expect.
Hmm.
That mom and dad had this or mom and dad had that, and because of course they won't be the executives of the state, but at least they
Right.
know what's
Yeah,
Know what's
going
going on.
on. And right, so don't just assume that they are too young to know, or this is a
no,
topic you don't
right.
want to discuss. It's important that they know what's going on so they're prepared
Yeah,
and they know how to handle it themselves. So I thought
You
that
have
was
yeah,
interesting.
you have to lay that groundwork with them early. That way, people can start to be not become comfortable with death, but to become familiar with the
Right,
processes of death.
right,
right,
You don't
right,
want them
right,
to be
right,
surprised as they're getting older. You
right.
want them to kind of have an idea of what it is that they need to be prepared for.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
best way to do it.
yeah. That's
right,
good. That's good
right,
stuff, man. That's
right.
good
That
stuff, man. That's woo. Mm.
Yeah, it's a subject we don't like to talk about, but it's as I'm learning the hard way that it's necessary, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
things you have to take care of. You don't want to think about it, but you have to do
yeah,
this for your family because you never
yeah,
know.
You have to.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
have
my mom,
to.
Yeah,
It's
she
no way
talks
around
about it.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
We
it's
saw
no
my
way
mom's this
around it.
weekend. Yeah, we saw my mom's this weekend. She was talking about her, what she was talking about. Yeah, I got my plot. I got the funeral
Mhm.
paid for. I got this paid for. She was talking about like it was like she watching a football game. What is she, Rob? She was
Yeah,
like, yeah, she was like, y'all ain't got to worry about all that kind of stuff. I know where y'all stand. I know who I'm gonna be buried. So we're like, okay, it's not the
But
first time she talked
even
this
in
way.
that
So
situation too, when they talk about it, make sure they show you on paper what
yeah,
it
she
is that
showed my
they
hmm,
have.
sister. Yeah,
Okay,
she
good,
showed my
good, good,
sister. Yeah, my sister. And my sister
good.
ain't let nobody let nothing get by her. She like a safe. She got stuff on lock.
Right.
So yeah, man, this is good, man. Thank you so much for just sharing this
yeah,
this wealth of knowledge, man. And you definitely are a resource. You was very helpful to us, and we thank you for the time that you give us on this podcast. Thank you for just
yeah.
being a friend. And your wife, man, she's hilarious. I don't know what type.
She is.
She's something else, man. So just want to say thank you, man, for all you provide to the community, man. Because a lot of times resources
Yeah,
are not known, and we try and provide a resource for information for people so we can share and they won't be blindsided and they can be aware of what's going on. It keeps us bonded and not divided when it comes to these situations.
right,
Death is a hard thing, and we need to come
Right.
together, not be separated because of things that are unknown to the individuals. So this process
right,
is for us to know what's going on in one's life. So in death, we also will know too.
Right.
right,
You want to
right,
make sure that who the professional that you're dealing with know what they're talking about. The
Right.
reason I got into the funeral industry is because I wanted to do something different. But the longer and
Hmm.
longer that I stayed in the funeral industry, I wanted to make sure that people were okay. I wanted to make sure in the situations as far as life insurance. That's the main reason why I became a life insurance agent, to show people
Hmm.
how not to lose money or waste money. You see
Mm.
so many things being in this industry that insurance companies can take advantage of you if you don't know what to look for or how or know the resources to help you get through those processes. So
Hmm.
hmm,
this job for me. is definitely a ministry just trying to make sure I help people um, achieve what they need in one of their darkest times.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
brother.
you
I appreciate you.
you have truly been a blessing to us, and I just truly appreciate you. And is there anything else that we didn't ask that you want everyone to know? Did we hit everything, or
I think we pretty much hit it.
can't
You know,
think of
one of the
anything
main
else?
things were where you just make
Okay.
sure that you go over your documents and make sure you know where your documents are, and just make sure you have that conversation with your family. That way, they're prepared.
Mm. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank
CJ,
you.
what's the name of your business, CJ?
So
The name?
I'm the manager of William Tony Funeral Home in Zebulon
Okay.
and Spring Hope.
Okay.
If you have listeners who have questions or want to talk about life insurance, or even if they want me to look over the life insurance policies, they can email me at canthonyjr@gmail.com. That's
Okay.
canthonyjr@gmail.com. And I'll be
All
glad to
right.
help anyone through their process. Even if it's a family that's not going to use my services, I'm still there to just try to help through that process.
And that's a
Oh,
proven fact because you just did it
yes.
for us. Right.
Yes, yes. And I will make sure I post on the Podbean website your email and your Facebook and Instagram information so that if anybody wants to contact CJ, just go to Financeology 101 on Podbean and his information will be posted out there.
All
Once
right.
again, CJ, thank you for being a blessing. Thank you for working your gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you all for
All
having
right.
me.
No, man, thank you for being a part of the podcast. It's definitely needed. Definitely needed.
Yes,
And if you
thank
want to
you.
reach out to Robert and myself, we can be found on Facebook at Gifted Gen LLC. And also for YouTube, just type in Gifted Generations LLC and you'll see numerous amount of YouTube's podcasts that can be replayed, edited perfectly by my wife. She is the voice of choice around here for me. And of course, the IG is gift.gen. And then we have our website, it's giftedgenerations-llc.com. And we always say, don't forget that dash, because if you get that dash, I don't know where you may end up. But with that dash, you'll come to our website. I can't help you that way. I can't help you. Don't come mad, come looking at me. And you're like, I tell you then. And this popped up. Hey, you forgot the dash, brother. You forgot the dash.
And also, our podcast can be found on Spotify and Google Play. So, once again, thank you, CJ, and have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Say hey to your wife for us.
Sure will.
Well, thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Financeology 101. I hope you enjoyed this session and the information provided will assist you on your financial journey. Until next time, be financially engaged.